Sahib.
Okay, I do obviously want to speak about the SAC resolution. I don't mean any offense to anyone. I want to reiterate that again. But this is about principle. This is about our funding bodies. This is about legitimacy. And I think again, Neil brought up a great point. So kudos to Neil about the collaboration piece. And Benson also alluded to this: is I can be a part of a student organization. I am a representative of the Michigan Student Assembly. Therefore, by technicality, by my involvement in that student organization, then MSA by default have a stake in what that organization does. I'm not sure. So the issue is still kind of on my mind. But what I just want to allude to is the idea of principle here was in my mind violated. However, I think SAC is still going to do great stuff. And the point I brought up about the actual budget. Now, the brown paper bag argument, I don't necessarily agree with. I do trust that individuals and organizations will utilize our money responsibly, and obviously with the reimbursement process, there's no option but to utilize it responsibly. But again, it's about principle. It's about we uphold all these 101 for 110 student organizations to a certain standard. That means that VSO as SAC must also be held to that standard. But again, best of luck to you, Adam, and everyone else. I think you're doing great stuff. And if you could subsidize some tickets for us, that'd be cool. That was kind of a joke, maybe not. I don't know. It's really late right now. The other thing I want to talk about, two more things. PPC funding. I know the 100,000 is a lot, and there were obviously issues about it, and I'm sure those issues and those concerns haven't been quelled. So please come see me. Please come see any of us, any of the chairs of the funding bodies, including Vishal, and talk to us about what's actually happening here. Don't just look at the resolution and the recommendations and glance over them. I mean, actually talk to us about it. If you really want to know what's going on, I would recommend being a part of the committee because it's a blast. You get free food as well, and we're entertaining people. But come see us, please do. And I do want to say to the idea of going through PPC and CSC does, in a very real way, collaborate and support student organizations. Even if it doesn't seem like it from the outset, we very much do. I can't say how many student organizations I've met with, and Emily has met with, and Shreya has met with, and Zanata has met with, and Vishal has met with, and that in of itself is collaboration, that is support. Not just giving money, but allowing them to properly utilize our funding in a way that supports their student organization, and us advising them. That is very much collaboration. The last thing I want to say is that I will be representing MSA at the Penis Monologues. So, if you're down, come see me. It's on Thursday. Should be interesting.
Thanks. Hamdan.
So it was an interesting meeting today. I'm sorry I fell asleep towards the end. I have not slept in a while and got boring towards the end. I don't know what those last new business stuff was. No offense. So I was interested in the election code resolution as the only candidate in the history of MSA to ever have been prosecuted for violating the irresponsible use of the email code, and the only candidate to ever have been found guilty by the election board of having violated that code. I think I have earned some authority to speak regarding that issue. I think it is premature to propose such an amendment because the Central Student Judiciary, as I mentioned, is currently considering whether large portions of the election code are unconstitutional. Very serious issues have been raised that portions of the election code violate rights to freedom of association, rights to freedom of speech, rights to freedom of publication. Several law students are working on this as we speak. They are very passionate about this. They've read through the case law. They think that the election code is blatantly in violation of the Constitution. CSJ has not considered this before. It's going to come up before them in the upcoming weeks. I'll keep you guys posted. I think just in light of that fact, and in light of the fact that MSA doesn't have a great track record of adhering to our Constitution, CSJ has found stuff we've done blatantly unconstitutional before. This has led to issues. I think I would propose, I'm kind of disturbed to see this come before us while that legislation process is ongoing, and I would propose when this comes up, I'm in the middle of mine. I would propose when this comes up that we table this until we hear definitively from our judicial bodies as to what exactly we are allowed and not allowed to put in in the election code that makes it in accordance with the Constitution. I'll take questions. Pat.
So from what I understand, you're saying that it is your opinion and you believe the possible opinion of CSJ that the election code is fundamentally flawed, and you're saying because the election code is possibly flawed and under review, we shouldn't try to fix it?
I didn't exactly. I said their arguments have been raised that portions of the election code are unconstitutional.
Sure.
We're waiting to hear from CSJ whether that's the case and what is it that makes portions of the election code unconstitutional. Without having heard that, I don't think it's fair to go around making changes here and there that try to bring it within the realm of legality. And I think that's what's been done here. I think change to the email code are just ridiculous, the 100 email. I think that just doesn't make sense. And I think we should give them the benefit of the doubt, wait until we hear from until we get their opinion, get their legal, not just their opinion, get the legal verdict on whether or not this violates the Constitution before we go ahead with it.
Thank you.
I yield.
Roro.
So I wanted to draw your attention to a banner on the wall. I put it up there for the next couple of months, and I'm going to take it when I leave, so enjoy it. But, go blue.
Go blue. Benson.
Couple quick things. First, can't have Meadows Rise without me saying come to Arnie Sunday at 7:30. On the SAC resolution, again, I was talking first, so I'm sure it's a great event, but I really have to echo everything that Sahib and Shaul said earlier. Now as the Arnie chair, we have processes for a reason. There was a CSJ case, looking at CSJ, a few years back whereby the Assembly was actually prohibited from using any of its funding because we violated a certain Supreme Court decision, speaking specifically to the fairness and quality of how we gave out our funding. As a result of that, the reason that MSA was able to spend money again was because we put in the sponsored. Well, we basically changed the way that we allocated funding. We included the sponsored event section of the code. What we did today, I think having a single member participate in an event is certainly collaboration, but does it meet the standard? I don't know. Again, also, we have over 1,200 student organizations on campus. We hold all of them to the same standard. It was said today we only have one ex officio, and that's true. However, the Rules and Elections Committee is in the process of reviewing an IFC petition. A ex officio petition from IFC, Canton London Council, as well as the Inter-Co-op Council. So we expect a number of those to be approved shortly. So can these individuals make the same request? I don't know. On the election code changes, I have to respectfully disagree with about 99% of what was just said. I think that these changes have been under consideration for months. The fact that there's a pending CSJ case where apparently many law students are reviewing. There are many law students on the court that have reviewed, as well as counsel for plaintiff. I'm not sure of any others, and I'd love to hear of them by name. But with that said, this is a collaborative work of a number of people. I really encourage you to take a look at it. Just as Michael said for the SPG Constitution, just as Sahib said for the BPC and CSC allocations. This is important. We will be voting on this next week. This, if approved, will be the new set of guidelines that we run our elections by. I personally think that these are many steps ahead of what we have now. I think that these changes, by giving the election board a bit more discretion, by separating out different classes of offenses, really hold people accountable. Not only in the sense that if you do A, it's something, if you do B, it's something else, but also differentiates too, such that intent matters now. Intent was not a classification previously, but under this, if it's approved, intent actually matters. So if you do not intend to break a rule, the election will actually take that into account. Again, we look forward to the CSJ hearing, and I encourage you to pass this, and I yield. And any question?
Benson. Keller.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank the Assembly for approving the resolution. I realize there's still people that obviously hold sentiments or opinions that this maybe sets a precedent of funding that shouldn't be set. While I doubt there will be an instant flooding of ex officio applications because of this resolution, I will say that it did set a precedent. It solved a problem. It got something done. Whereas the BPC deadline had passed, this was another avenue, another way, another medium of which to get funding before an event started.